Another attitude that comes from the top, from the people who have their cars paid for by us, the taxpayer, decisions made by those that have been in the parliament for 20 years, like Chris Bowen, or even longer in the case of the current Prime Minister. Well, we have remained on the issue, as plenty have, and you know how important it is here, about exactly what types of cars we're going to be allowed to drive into the future. Now, Chris Bowen thinks that there's an electric future where there's the only cars that people will be wanting to buy. Places like the ACT are going to pass laws, in fact already have, that you can't buy a combustion engine after 2030. But the cars that Australians are buying right now, and by a margin of 2 to 1 over any other brand in the top 5, are of course the work utes of the Ford Ranger and the Toyota Hilux. You see, these are, for many people, a tool when it comes to work, or the best way to get your family around. Or God forbid, you'd like to actually get out into the bush and do some camping. Well, more work is being done by Philip Curry. Again, I bet my house on this bloke when he says it's going to be happening, because he's been around for a while and he doesn't fall for the spin. There are way too many people in and around politics that are always playing for access, which means they never rock the boat. He couldn't care less. And he has reported on more detail of exactly what car companies are going to be in a world of pain as a result of Bowen's big car ban. Almost half of the nation's 20 top-selling vehicle manufacturers will have to make significant adjustments if they're going to survive the government's proposed vehicle emission standards, according to some modelling which has been handed to him by the nation's leading automotive groups. The Motor Traders Association, or the MTAA, modelling seeks to highlight the challenge that each manufacturer faces based on the current fleet mix, public information on car company plans, because remember there are plenty of people who buy in fleet, but they also obviously know what people like Toyota or Ford are planning to do for the next 2, 5 or even 10 years, plus a whole bunch of industry intelligence they have from both here and overseas. The boss of that organisation says that the 7 brands in the top 20, so the 7 most popular car brands in Australia, will start from next year already in trouble. They will be on the wrong side of Bowen's big red line. Mazda, Ford, Mitsubishi, Subaru, Isuzu and Nissan all face particularly tough challenges. In fact, if you have a look here, not even at utes, but at passenger cars, you can see that Mazda, Ford, Mitsubishi, Subaru, Isuzu, Nissan and LDV are all going to be on the wrong side of the climate targets from day one, meaning that they will either have to buy credits off electric vehicle companies or they will have to start offering electric vehicles in the market. But some of these companies, frankly, don't have them in right-hand drive, and they don't have them here in Australia. But pay particular attention to Toyota and Mazda and Ford and Kia. Now, these are the main brands that Australians are purchasing. Now, that's when it comes to cars, 4-door normal cars. What about light commercial vehicles, utes? Toyota, automatically in trouble. Mitsubishi, automatically in trouble. Nissan, automatically in trouble. GWM, automatically in trouble. Ram, automatically in trouble. Sanyong, Jeep, Chevrolet, all automatically in trouble. So the Prime Minister and Chris Bowen can tell us as much as they want that, oh, there's no ban on big trucks. But when that many of the top car companies in Australia are already going to be in a scenario where they will not be able to sell vehicles in Australia, forget about what's happening in 2035, 2030 or even 2028. The problems kick in as soon as next year. But the Prime Minister says, of course, nothing to see here. We're not banning anything. You can buy and drive whatever you want. Unless, of course, when it comes to a ute, and it happens to be a Toyota, a Mitsubishi, a Nissan, a Ram, a Jeep, and if you're trying to putt around in a 4-door normal sedan, a Mazda, a Ford, a Mitsubishi, a Nissan. You see, these decisions are all made by people whose cars are paid for by us, the taxpayer, who've been politicians for a generation, 20 years in the case of Chris Bowen, way longer than that in terms of Anthony Albanese. These decisions are made by people who are unaffected by the decisions. Dare I say, a little bit like the lady who was desperate to go to the Taylor Swift concert, but the Prime Minister wants to go because, you know, it's good for the selfies. As long as he's taken care of, it's okay. Everyone else, go jump. But what does he always say?
My word is my bond.
Yeah, of course it is. What do we like to say? Pull the other one that plays Jingle Bells.